Hi everybody. I've talked quite a few times lately about vinyl half-speed remasters, and every time I do, I always get asked the few same questions about it, so I'm going to try and cover those for you today for anybody who's got any confusion. So the most common question I'm asked is, do I need any special equipment to play these on? And the answer is no. So long as you've got a turntable that will play your records, then you can play a half-speed remaster. You don't need any kind of special speed settings or anything like that on it. And the other question that I'm asked is, does it apply to CD releases and streaming like Spotify or Apple Music? No, it doesn't. This is vinyl only that we're talking about. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the process of getting the music onto that piece of vinyl, how it differs on a half-speed remaster, and why that might end up with a better record. So I'm not going to go too in depth about how a piece of music is recorded and then ends up on a vinyl. There's plenty of videos that will tell you all the stages of how that occurs, but there's one specific stage on a half-speed remaster where things are done very differently. And that's the point where the music has already been recorded and mixed and mastered, and it's about to be put onto that lacquer that looks a bit like a piece of vinyl, but it's that first point in which a needle will actually carve the information of the record to create grooves on a lacquer that then goes off to be made into a metal stamper that then prints the records. So that process there where that first lacquer is made and that groove carves the record, the information onto the record, that's the bit that's done differently. So normally if you're making a record that's at 33 1/3 RPM, then that's what that will spin at while it's carving that information. But what they do with a half-speed remaster is the music is played at half speed, and then it's also the needle is making the grooves at half speed also. So that lacquer will turn at half of 33 1/3, which is 16 2/3. So it's going to be spinning more slowly. And the theory is that because it's spinning more slowly, that the needle has got more time to carve better grooves, if you like, into that lacquer to get more information. It can get in and give more information about the bass and the treble and the mids, pretty much everything, to be honest. There's an analogy that I like to think of here. It's if you were going on a car journey, somebody's going to drive you through town at 33 1/3 miles an hour, and they've given you a pen and a piece of paper, and they've asked you to write down all the information about everything you can see at ground level, eye level, and up on the roof, or to turn it into musical equivalent, bass, mids and highs. They're asking you to write down all the information as you travel through town at 33 1/3 miles an hour. And you can get a fair bit of information down there. But if you were to travel through town at half that speed, at 16 2/3 mile an hour, and I'm going to write down everything I see, I've got time to record a lot more information as we go on that journey. And that's a similar kind of thing with this needle in the groove. It can carve better grooves that then, when they get imprinted into a metal stamper, that's a better stamper because it's then got more of that information in it, so that when that presses the vinyl record for you, the final result is more of that information has transferred its way onto the final piece of vinyl. So you still play it at the normal speed, but it's the process at which that information was put onto the initial lacquer that was done at half the speed to give it time to make better grooves that can be transferred to your final piece of vinyl. And that's pretty much all a half-speed remaster is. It's a bit more expensive because, you know, the process is taking longer. It's going to take double the speed. They've got to use different settings, and they're going to pass that cost on to us as buyers. There's no doubt about that. But I personally think that there is a better end product. The few half-speed masters that I've got certainly sound better. There's more clarity there. There's a smoothness of bass. For example, there's acoustic guitars that sound better, I've noticed. And so I do think you get a better product at the end of it. But just in case you're wondering about half-speed mastering and how it's done, that's the stage, that's the only real stage that's different, is when that lacquer is produced. I've also done a video on the difference between mixing and mastering, and therefore the difference between a remix and a remaster. So if that's something that's always confused you as well, there's a link to that above or down in the description. Feel free to have a look at that. But if you've got any questions, comments on half-speed vinyl mastering, let me know, and I hope this has been useful for you, and I'll see you again sometime. Thank you very much. Goodbye.